Every business today seems to want the same thing. Not just customers, not just sales, not just growth. They want users inside an ecosystem. And that's why so many businesses suddenly feel less like traditional companies and more like digital platforms. Restaurants have apps, retail stores have memberships, banks have ecosystems, streaming companies push subscriptions, car companies now sell software features, even grocery stores are trying to become technology platforms. And this shift is happening across almost every industry at the same time because businesses are realizing something important. Selling products once is no longer enough. They now want continuous access to customer attention, habits, and spending. For decades, most businesses operated in relatively simple ways. A customer bought something. The transaction ended. Then the company tried convincing that customer to come back later, but digital platforms completely changed that model. Companies like Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Uber showed the business world something extremely powerful. Constant engagement creates far more long-term value than occasional transactions. The more time customers spend inside an ecosystem, the more valuable those customers become. And now businesses everywhere are trying to copy that model. That's why so many companies push apps, memberships, subscriptions, loyalty programs, accounts, and notifications. Because businesses no longer want occasional customers, they want ongoing participation. Think about how many businesses now ask users to create accounts for almost everything. Coffee shops, retail stores, airlines, restaurants, fitness brands. Even basic services increasingly want customers connected digitally all the time. At first, it can feel unnecessary. Why does a fast food chain need an app? Why does every clothing store suddenly have memberships and reward systems? Why does every company want notifications and personalized offers? The answer is data and retention. Digital platforms generate information constantly. Businesses can track buying habits, spending patterns, locations, preferences, and engagement frequency. That data helps companies personalize promotions, predict behavior, and increase repeat purchases. And in today's economy, predictable customers are extremely valuable. Wall Street especially loves predictability. Subscription revenue, recurring payments, monthly engagement, retention rates. These metrics make businesses appear more stable to investors because future revenue becomes easier to estimate. That's one reason companies are aggressively shifting toward platform-style business models. Recurring revenue often looks more attractive than unpredictable one-time sales, and this changes how businesses operate entirely. Instead of focusing only on selling products, companies increasingly focus on keeping users engaged for as long as possible. That's why many businesses now feel designed around attention and retention rather than simple transactions. Apps encourage daily interaction. Rewards programs create habits. Notifications constantly pull users back. Membership systems create switching costs. Everything becomes connected to engagement. Even industries that once seemed completely disconnected from technology are moving this direction. Automakers are a major example. Car companies once made money mostly by selling vehicles and servicing them occasionally. Now many automakers are transforming cars into software platforms. Vehicles increasingly receive digital updates. Features can be activated through subscriptions. Entertainment systems connect directly to larger ecosystems. Driving data becomes valuable. The car is no longer just transportation. It's becoming a connected digital environment. Retail is changing too. Traditional stores once depended mainly on foot traffic and occasional purchases. Now retailers want customers connected through apps, online accounts, delivery services, rewards programs, and personalized recommendations. The goal is to make shopping frictionless while increasing engagement frequency. Because the easier and more integrated shopping becomes, the harder it becomes for customers to leave the ecosystem. And large companies understand this very well. That's why businesses increasingly compete over ecosystems instead of individual products. Apple wants users deeply connected across devices and services. Amazon wants customers inside shopping, streaming, cloud, and subscription systems. Google wants users connected through search, Android maps, cloud services, and AI tools. Even smaller companies are trying to build mini platforms around their own industries. Because ecosystems create leverage. Once businesses successfully build digital habits around customers, those customers often become more profitable over time. Switching becomes inconvenient. Payment systems are already saved, rewards are already accumulated, preferences are already stored. The ecosystem creates both psychological and practical reasons for users to stay, and businesses love that. But there's another major reason this shift is accelerating now. Growth is becoming harder. For years, companies focused heavily on expansion, open more locations, sell more products, enter new markets. But modern markets are increasingly saturated and competitive. Finding entirely new customers is becoming more expensive. So businesses are focusing more on extracting greater value from existing customers instead, and digital platforms help accomplish that. Connected customers spend more often, interact more frequently, generate more data, respond more easily to targeted promotions. That creates a far more efficient business model. Artificial intelligence is making this trend even stronger. AI allows businesses to personalize experiences at enormous scale. Recommendations become smarter, advertising becomes more targeted, apps become more adaptive. Companies can increasingly predict what customers might want before customers even search for it. And the better a platform understands users, the harder it becomes for competitors to match that experience quickly. That creates a powerful advantage. This shift is also changing consumer expectations. People increasingly expect convenience, speed, personalization, and seamless digital experiences from almost every business now. Companies that fail to adapt can quickly start feeling outdated. That creates pressure across entire industries. Even businesses that don't necessarily want to become digital platforms often feel forced to compete this way because customers now compare every experience to the convenience standards created by major tech companies. But there's also a downside to all this. Consumers are starting to feel overwhelmed. Too many apps, too many subscriptions, too many memberships, too many notifications. Every company wants constant attention. And that creates digital fatigue. People increasingly feel like businesses are competing for every minute of their day. Some consumers are starting to push back against endless subscriptions and engagement systems, but businesses continue moving in this direction because platform economics are extremely powerful. The companies dominating today's economy are often the ones controlling ecosystems, not necessarily the ones making the best products. That's a massive shift from older business models, and it's why nearly every industry now feels like it's trying to become part technology company, part media company, and part digital platform at the same time. Because businesses no longer just want transactions, they want continuous access to customer attention, data, habits, and spending behavior. And in today's economy, the companies controlling ecosystems often control the most valuable customer relationships. That's why every business suddenly feels like a digital platform, because increasingly that's exactly what they're trying to become. Every business today seems to want the same thing: